Welcome back to Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a little different.
Yeah, this one feels different.
It really is. Usually we're here to, dissect a stack of articles, look at the data.
Find the most efficient path from A to B.
Exactly. We try to make you the smartest person in the room. But the wisdom we're looking at today, it isn't asking us to be smart.
No, it's not asking us to be efficient either.
In fact, it's asking us to just stop. So I want to ask you to trust me on this one. I want to invite you to visualize a specific moment with me.
I'm ready. I've spent some time with this material, and honestly, it's a shift. It feels less like studying and more like
Exhaling.
exhaling.
Yeah.
That's the perfect word. So if you can, just close your eyes for a second, or just soften your focus.
Okay.
Imagine it's late afternoon. You're standing in your kitchen,
Yeah.
and the line outside is doing that thing, where it gets soft and golden.
The whole world feels like it's taking a breath.
Yes.
Yes.
And here's the shift. You step into this kitchen, but not because you're hungry. Right. Not because there's a deadline.
No kids screaming for dinner, no checklist running through your head. You are stepping in simply because it's time.
And that right there, that's the first hurdle, isn't it?
Yeah.
That scenario feels almost alien.
It does.
The idea of cooking without hunger, without a purpose, a checklist, it feels strange, a little uncomfortable even.
But that's strangeness. I think that's the doorway. The core idea here is that you begin simply because beginning is enough.
So we're shifting the frame.
Completely. We're moving from cooking as a chore, something, to just get done to cooking as a silent ceremony.
A ceremony, that word usually makes me think of robes, incense, a temple.
Right. But we're talking about chopping blocks in stainless steel. It's a kind of meditation in motion.
And our mission then for this deep dive is to explore how you can sort of bow to the moment without even using your hands.
You do it with a knife and a carrot.
When I first approached these ideas, my first instinct was to find the utility, the how-to.
Of course. The questioner in you comes out, how does this make my dinner taste better?
Exactly, or how does it make me more efficient?
Yeah.
But we're immediately hit with this concept of doing without doing.
Ooh, it sounds like a riddle.
It does. And to explain it, there's this incredible metaphor of the onion.
Oh, the onion. Let's unpack this because it's so visceral. Everyone has a relationship with an onion.
And it's usually a pretty bad relationship, right? You peel it to get it over with.
I'm just trying to strip the skin as fast as possible so my eyes don't stream.
Exactly. But the perspective here is to peel the onion slowly, to notice the layers parting almost, like secrets, and the sting in your eyes. The insight is that the sting isn't an irritation.
So what is it?
It's intimacy with life's rawness.
Wow, intimacy with life's rawness. That is such a profound shift.
It is.
Usually when I'm chopping an onion, I'm just annoyed. I'm thinking about the email I need to send. But this perspective says the meal itself. The food on the plate is secondary.
Which is a really hard pill to swallow for a culture that's so obsessed with outcomes.
Totally. We want the 5-star review, the compliments to the chef.
The nutritional breakdown. We treat the cooking as this toll we pay to get to the eating.
Right. But the argument here is that what really matters is the quality of your presence. Did you rush? Or did you stand fully in the steam rising from the pot?
It reminds me of the Japanese tea ceremony. I'd always been fascinated by that, how precise it is.
Yes. Every movement is unhurried. But it's not for show. It's to honor the space between things.
And your kitchen can be that tea room.
Your chopping board is the altar.
Okay, but how do you actually apply that? Practically speaking, I'm standing there, the garlic is about to burn.
Yeah.
How do I find the space between things?
Well, there's a thought experiment for this. A Koan, really. What is the sound of one hand stirring soup?
One hand stirring soup.
Yeah.
It sounds like a riddle designed to just frustrate you.
But it's not meant to be answered. That's the whole point. It's meant to stop the mind.
Ah, I see.
To drop you, the cook, into the now. And when you're stirring that soup and you're not thinking about the next step, there's no you separate from the spoon.
So you're not. It's not that you're making dinner.
You are dinner being made.
I think that's the first big takeaway for me. We tend to think of love or spirituality as these grand, huge gestures.
Right. Writing a symphony, climbing a mountain.
Yeah, but this is the most profound acts of love. They look like nothing, just slicing carrots and humming, aware of the blade's coolness.
So that simplicity of attention. When that boundary dissolves, the act itself becomes the prayer. It's not about the soup.
It's about the stirring.
Yeah.
Which that leads us into this really challenging idea about service. It makes me think of that famous story about Master Joshu.
Ah, yes. The wash your bowl Koan.
Right. So for anyone who doesn't know it, a student asks Master Joshu for the meaning of, well, everything basically. Secret of the universe.
The big question.
A big one. And Joshu just asks him, have you eaten your rice porridge? The student says yes, and Joshu said,
Then go wash your bowl.
and it feels, it feels dismissive, doesn't it? Like, stop bothering me and do your chores.
That's the first read, for sure. But is it dismissive? Or is it the ultimate answer?
Well, in this light, it's the ultimate answer. It reframes what enlightenment even is. We think it's some lightning bolt moment.
But Joshua is saying it's found in the next ordinary act.
Exactly. Washing the dish isn't a chore to get through. It's completing the circle.
I love that phrase, completing the circle. Think about your kitchen at night. Dinner's done, everyone's full, the plates are stacked, it's messy.
Every single night. It feels like a punishment for having cooked.
But what if washing the bowl is the practice? What if the feeling of the warm water, the way the soap cuts the grease? What if that is the point?
It completely changes the definition of service.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of the story of the Zen cook in the mountain monastery.
The one who cooked for 20 monks.
Yes, and he never spoke, never tasted the food, never took praise. And when someone asked him why, he just said, when I stir the pot, I don't stir it for them, I stir it for the stirring.
I stir it for the stirring. That is the key insight.
But I have to be the skeptic again here. If I'm cooking for my family, isn't it a little selfish to say, I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing it for the stirring? It sounds a bit cold.
I hear that. It does sound detached. But think about the trap of the transaction. If I cook for you, explicitly to be generous, what happens?
I'd expect you to say thank you.
Exactly. I expect gratitude. I expect you to like it. And if you don't, I feel resentful. I spent hours making this.
It's a transaction.
But the insight here is if I cook just for the act itself, the benefit, it just arrives unbidden, like steam rising from the pot. It's just there.
So by removing the expectation, you actually purify the act of giving.
Yes, and it demands a kind of vulnerability. We're talking about unity. One hand holds the knife, one holds the vegetable, and the mind holds nothing.
It brings up that other Koan, the original face.
What is your original face while rinsing grains?
That is a heavy question for a Tuesday night. Who am I while I'm rinsing rice?
But it's also liberating, isn't it? You're not the provider. You're not the caregiver. You're just hands moving in water. Your identity shifts. You become a vessel.
A vessel.
Mm-hmm.
That moves us deeper into this idea of the kitchen as a sacred space, the altar of the ordinary.
Exactly.
Because if I'm just a vessel, just hands in water, then the magic isn't coming from me, it's moving through me.
Precisely. And let's look at a very specific moment to illustrate this. The threshold of boiling.
That moment just before the water really starts to boil.
Yes. The trembling and the whispers of the steam, we usually just ignore that part. We're waiting for the big rolling boil to dump the pasta in.
Right.
But the insight is that we wait for these grand miracles in life, but the real miracle is disguised as dinner.
Disguised as dinner. I love that.
Oh.
It suggests the sacred isn't off in some temple, it's right there on the stove.
And this connects back to what you said about the cook as a vessel. You mentioned being like a clay bowl.
Yeah, the idea that a bowl just holds the soup without claiming it. The bowl doesn't say, look how well I'm keeping this warm. It just is. It surrenders to its function.
Service isn't sacrifice, it's surrender. Not giving up yourself, but giving into the moment. And here's the twist, and I think this is the most beautiful part. The recipient of the service.
This is what turns that whole selfish argument on its head, right?
It does.
The suggestion that the one you think you're serving might actually be serving you.
What does that look like in practice?
Well, think about cooking for a grieving friend. You go in thinking, I'm the helper, I'm fixing this.
Huh?
But as you cook, as you chop and stir and offer this food, the act itself starts to heal you.
The boundary between giver and receiver just vanishes.
Like two rivers merging.
We've all felt that, haven't we? When you're truly present for someone, you feel lighter afterward. You're not drained, you're recharged.
Because you stop trying to be a specific self. You stop keeping score.
And think of the steam again. It holds the water, the fire, the grain, the patience, and then it vanishes. It's ephemeral.
It teaches us that the ordinary, when it's fully inhabited, is the extraordinary.
So we've moved from entering the silence to doing without doing to service as surrender. And now we're standing at the end of the meal, the silence after the last bite.
This is where we land. Or maybe where we just dissolve.
Right. You don't need candles or chants. You just need a pot, a flame, and willingness.
It's taking the most basic human act eating and turning it into a gateway.
And the final provocation, it's a haunting one. I want you to imagine standing in the silence after the dishes are done. The sink is clean.
And instead of rushing to the TV or your phone,
Instead of filling that space, you ask yourself one question. Not, did I serve well?
not, was the food good?
No, you ask, who was serving and who is being served?
It's a paradox that just loops back on itself. If I'm the vessel and the act is the stirring, then who is the I?
Exactly. It dissolves the ego. It just leaves you with the warmth, a softness.
It's funny, we started this deep dive thinking we were talking about cooking. We're not really talking about cooking anymore, are we?
No, we're talking about being alive. Cooking is just the most convenient way in because we have to do it every day.
But you could apply this to folding laundry or driving to work.
To listening to a friend. It's about stopping the resistance to what is right here.
This is enough.
That's the whisper.
It's a relief, honestly. To think that enough isn't some goalpost I have to hit way out in the future. It's just here, in peeling the onion.
So tonight, when you walk into your kitchen,
What's the test?
when you pick up that knife, can you feel its weight? When you turn on the faucet, can you hear the water?
Could you resist the urge to turn on a podcast, even this one, and just let the silence be there?
That's the challenge. To realize the miracle isn't the finished dish. The miracle is that you were there to witness it coming into being.
It makes me want to go chop some vegetables right now.
I think that's the best impulse you could have. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Peel the onion, stir the soup.
Wash the bowl.
Yeah. Usually I leave these deep dives with a list of facts or strategies. Today I'm leaving with less, in a good way.
Less clutter.
More space.
Exactly. Before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought. We talked about the silence after the meal. But what about the hunger that comes before it?
The physical hunger.
Physical, yes, but maybe spiritual too. Maybe we don't just step into the kitchen because our stomachs are empty. Maybe we're always hungry for this kind of connection.
A hunger for reality.
Yes, for something real in a digital world. So tonight, feed that hunger. Not just with calories, but with presence. Let the steam rise.
Let the silence speak.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
Take care.
This is enough.